Hi, good morning, and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 699. I'm Kristin Omdahl, and we're here live in Southwest Florida in my beautiful tropical backyard. If you are joining me live, please say hello. If you end up watching the recorded version of the podcast, please also feel welcome to say hello. Hello, Grace. Good morning. Hi, Angela and Mindy. Good morning. Hi, Joe. Hi, Constance. Hi, Thea and Lily. Hi, Christine. And thank you, Lisa. This is the new print that I was telling you about on one of my favorite Amazon dresses. I'll stand up and show you in a minute. Hi, Susie. And oh, I missed a bunch of names. Susie and Kathy, Patricia, Marcia, Lorraine, Julia, Edna. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Rita. Hi, Margaret. I might have missed some names. That went by really quickly. Hi, Carrie. Oh, maybe I caught everybody. Hi, Jackie and Patricia. Good morning. Yeah, this dress is that same A-line tank top dress that has the seamed waist that I've been wearing for years, but they came out in a new print that's very different from their other prints. It has bold offset patterns, not an all-over small print. So I will stand up and show you. It has this beautiful floral print that does not cover the whole fabric. It has a navy background, and then these pretty flowers have a light sky blue and some white and different variations of fuchsia. I mean, is this not screaming colors that I love? I saw it and I was like, I have to have this dress. I really think that it's the kind of print that you could dress up or dress down depending on your accessories too. I think you could get away with heels and wear it out to dinner with the right jewelry and maybe even a shawl. And I think you could absolutely wear it with sandals or flip-flops during the day. I do think that you could wear it with ballerina flats and even a cardigan or a jacket. A white denim jacket would look super cute with it. A navy blazer would look cute with it. A cardigan in navy, sky blue, or fuchsia would be beautiful with it. I think you could definitely play around with different accessories and different layering pieces to wear this day or night because of the colors and the type of print. Hi, Judy. Good morning. I forgot my water. Oh well, it's not that cold out or that hot out here this morning, so I don't have my fan or my water. Let's see how it goes. And I've decided that these glasses come in really handy, not only for reading, but I can't wear makeup still because of my eye allergy, and sure like having them hidden behind here. You know how self-conscious I am about my dark circles and my bags. Eye bags, that is. Hi, Irene. Good morning. But I did take Claritin yesterday at the suggestion of someone here on the podcast. Thank you. And then I followed up with Benadryl last night, and I feel a ton better today. So I'm quite confident that it was allergies to either something on my bike ride to the beach or something at the beach or maybe just something in the air. Because living this far south, what happens is this is kind of our spring. The farming season is winter here, not summer. So things are starting to grow now. And Marlon did a little Google search for me yesterday. Pine pollen is coming out again. And I know that I have been affected by pine pollen in the past, so it's possible. Anyway, something airborne affected my eyes 2 days ago. And I'm feeling, I would say 80% better today. So I feel confident that with a few more days of allergy medicine, I should be good to go and back to makeup. I know, priorities, right? Good morning from Colombia. My best friend in college was from Colombia. I've always wanted to go. Hi, Lily. Good morning. Is anybody crafting yet this morning? Zadador eye drops. Yes, I've been using allergy eye drops too. And cold compresses on my face. I even tried cut up cucumbers yesterday, which was a temporary relief. Oh, Sandshell's been working, no crafting. All right. I made a little more progress on my crochet cardigan. There is not a video for the Nadia yet. The pattern was just released yesterday and I have not made the videos yet. I've been a little slower than normal because of my temporary eye allergy, but I will definitely be getting video tutorials up as soon as possible for the 2 new cowls. I'll show you those. I have them with me. So we released a couple of new patterns yesterday. The beautiful Rinna crochet cowl that's a 1-ball project with Be So Sporty Bling yarn, which means you can do it in sporty as well. And then bling, this is called the Nadia. So we've got the Nadia 1-ball cowl and the Rinna crochet cowl. These are both brand new patterns in my shop and they are $1.99 each. The video tutorials will be coming shortly, and video tutorials are just supplemental. I want to be able to show you like how to do a couple of the stitches. Oh, you're welcome, Rennie. So this one has a very interesting technique for making these horizontal bars and then cinching them together. It sounds complicated, but it is so easy. You should be able to understand it from the pattern, but I'll do a quick video tutorial for it as well. And same with the crochet one. It is not a very difficult pattern at all. It's basically just mostly double crochet. There's a little bit of single crochet and a tiny bit of treble crochet. And the thing that is different in there is a chain 3 picot. And I'll show you how to do that and show you how to combine the stitches to make those pretty shells. So, and there is a new video tutorial series out though. I redid the Santabella shawl pattern recently. And now that the pattern is reworked and revised, it was a very old pattern and I felt like it needed some sprucing up and being better written. As I get better as a designer, I like to go back and improve my patterns. So this is now a new and improved pattern with gorgeous detailed charts, which I did not have the capability of doing on my own when I first released the pattern. So it is a much better pattern now, and it is available in my shop for $1.99. And I released a 4-part video tutorial supplemental series to go along with it, and those were released yesterday. So you can find all of that together on the pattern page. Anytime that I make videos for a pattern, I embed them in that pattern's page as well as upload them on YouTube. And you can find all of the videos on my YouTube channel. Now I have thousands of videos on my YouTube channel, so to just scroll through videos would be very tough. But what I suggest is that there's a search bar specific to my YouTube channel, separate from just searching on YouTube, which would definitely help you narrow it down. But I also have playlists, so you could search by playlists. This one is made in Be So Sporty yarn. Lily said, yes, Lily, this is made in Be So Sporty yarn. And these two are made in Be So Sporty Gold Bling yarn, which means you could mix and match. They're all number 2 sport weight yarns. So either of these and any of these could be made in silver bling, gold bling, or regular sporty yarn. They could all be interchangeable. I think it would be interesting to mix and match some of the blings with regular sporty to do this shawl. I think that would be really cool. I know the birds are so pretty this morning. I love these. Which ones are these? I know I know many of you are better at birds than I am. Are these the mockingbirds? I think that's my favorite bird song. Or so I've learned since living here and doing the podcast here. Rita wants to know if it's important to count because she's new. Otherwise, rip. If you're new to any craft or learning anything new, it's always best to count and make sure that you're on track, because it is very easy to get off track. And once you're off track, it's very easy to get further off track, if that makes sense. So if you are new to learning anything, I say if you can check your work as you go, it will always save you time in the long run, right? Just like we talk about gauge swatching. It seems like a pain in the rear to do it in the beginning, but if it stops you from making disastrous mistakes in the long term, it actually is a time saver. So it's like an insurance policy, right? Same with lifelines. We've talked about those being insurance policies too. Does it take extra time to put in a lifeline of major disaster long term? Yes. So anytime you can slow down in the beginning and take your time, in woodworking, we also say measure twice, cut once. So it doesn't really matter what craft you're doing. It is always a good your work as you go, just to make sure that you're on track. Because, like I said, once you get off track, it could possibly be disastrous. So yes, if counting is what you're asking to do, or checking your work, or whatever you need to do to make sure that you're still on track as a beginner, absolutely, 100% yes. I think you will be happier in the long run if you make fewer mistakes, right? I'm not saying you're not going to make mistakes. We all make mistakes, and sometimes mistakes is the best way to learn. But anytime you can slow down and make the process a little more smooth, I think it's always going to be more pleasurable that way. Not that it's not okay to make mistakes too. Yeah, counting is always a good idea. Oh, thanks, Judy, for posting links this morning. There've been extra questions about what I'm wearing and what I've worn other days. Yeah, those yoga pants with pockets are awesome. So are the shorts. I think the shorts I like even more. On your cardigan, what are you going to do for the cuff of the sleeve? I haven't decided yet. That's why I didn't do it yet. I'm going to, whatever I decide to do on the whole cardigan, I'm assuming you mean the crochet double treble one, because that's the one that has sleeves on it already. I'm probably going to hold off, and when I decide what I'm doing for the front trim, I will replicate that on the sleeve trim. It's going to be simple, probably one of those cluster stitches that I turn sideways. Have I done that on something that's out here? Don't think so. And I think I'm going to do something very subtle. I don't think it needs an elaborate trim. I think the texture of that double treble stitch with the single crochet stitch is very simple, so I'd like to keep it simple. Would you recommend marker? Yes, stitch markers are always a good idea. And if you have or are interested in my crochet toolkit, I do not have one out here, but I sell this really awesome pouch with 12 crochet hooks, a nail file. Oh, by the way, nail files are back in stock. They were temporarily sold out. And I do have the 5 nail file bundle pack on sale still, so that's back. That's back in stock, but I have a great set of lots of stitch markers in that toolkit that are color coded. There's all colors of the rainbow in there. And what's really nice about having multiple colors when you do stitch markers is so that you can mark things differently in a given project. So sometimes you need one color to mark the beginning and end of a row. Sometimes you need markers to remind you the beginning and end of different repeats of a pattern. And if you did all of those the same color, you could very easily forget where the beginning and end of a round is and continue on in a given pattern and not go to the next round's pattern. Stitch markers are also great in rows too. So when you're working back and forth in rows, you can mark the beginning and end of a repeat. You can mark raglan corners. You can mark where you're supposed to do something special to help you remember when you get there. Because yes, is counting a great way to keep on track? Sure. But does life get in the way? Yes. Does your phone ring? Does somebody call your name? Something interesting on the TV? Food needs to be made. Food's ready. The doorbell rings. Your kitty needs attention. Your puppy needs to go outside. I mean, there's a million reasons why we get distracted while we're working. And so counting is beautiful when you're in a bubble. But when life gets in the way and you have distractions, those stitch markers end up being so helpful. And because of the distractions of life, you can even forget what the stitch marker is representing. And that's why color coding becomes so important. Blue is the beginning and end of a round. Red is the beginning of this stitch pattern. And then if you're doing a sampler project, I did this for a project on season 10 on Knit and Crochet Now. And you may, if you watch that episode airing on PBS and Create TV, if you watch that episode, you would have seen me talk about, because I did a project where you were changing stitch pattern through the row. So it was like a sampler Afghan where it was this stitch pattern, then this one, then this one. So I marked the color for each new stitch pattern that I was doing across the row, and then wrote out the pattern in a spreadsheet and color coded each column so that my stitch marker represented the stitch pattern. And man, was that helpful. So helpful. And the only way you can do that is with stitch markers, really. I also wanted to point out that my particular stitch patterns are the split ring kind, which means not only do they then work for knitting and crochet, because crochet needs to be able to open and mark things. Crochet doesn't work the same way as knitting where you can put a solid ring on there, but this is also a great thing for knitters too, because if you need to mark how many rows from a certain section, you can clip it onto your work to mark how many rows. It ends up being a helpful row counter too, is what I'm saying. That was a very long answer to stitch markers, but I hope it helped. And if you haven't used stitch markers before, I hope this gave you a glimpse into the world of stitch markers. Probably seems like another short little video to make. Why use stitch markers? Could do something like that. Gosh, there's just so much to do and not enough time. But I've been doing a lot of talking, so let's see if anybody has any questions about what I've talked about so far. Hi, Luna. Good morning. Yes, Carla, stitch markers to mark the number of rows in knitting is very helpful. And then you would still need those split ring ones that open up. So the split ring ones are very universal for both knitters and crocheters. Oh, Mindy, you can choose whatever color you want to signify anything. Now, when you do that, if you think you're going to forget, make a note, right? Make yourself some notes, and you can remind yourself that red is going to be the beginning of the round, blue is going to be pattern repeats. If there's different repeats, you could oh, there we go. So maybe a tutorial on how to make a spreadsheet would help too. Okay. I did do it on the Knit and Crochet show, but that was a couple years ago. Maybe that's worthy of a video as well, which means I'll have to do a sampler pattern to make it make sense. But yes, definitely something I could do. Okay, got a surprise this morning. Let's do a call in to win section. So if anybody would like to call me right now and chat for a minute, tell me what you're working on, ask me a question if you want, and every person that calls in will win a prize. You just have to email Judy after the show, JUDI, at KristinOmdahl.com, and she will get you in contact with your prize. Well, it's Friday morning, and I thought it might be fun to do a little call in to win. Let's see if I get any calls. You know, I always worry about sitting here and not, oh, we've got a call already. Now, if I can remember how to do speakerphone. I did it, yay! Hello, this is Kristin. Who am I talking to?
Hi, Kristin, it's Mindy.
Hi, Mindy, how are you?
How are you?
Great, thank you. Are you crafting this morning? Hello? Hello? I think we lost Mindy. All right, well, thanks for calling in, Mindy. If you call back, great. If you can't, still email Judy. Glad to hear your voice. Hopefully you're doing well. I might have crappy service too. I know I've had really terrible internet and cell service the last week or so. Don't know what that's all about. We blamed it on the storms last week, but who knows this week? And it hasn't just been me. All my friends that live locally have had problems with their cell service too. Here we go. That might be her again. Hello, this is Kristin. Who's this?
Hi, it's Mindy again.
Oh, good. Hi, Mindy. Do you know what happened?
I don't know.
I don't know either. But I was beginning to ask you, what are you crafting this morning?
Yes, I'm making a face mask for my sister-in-law.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you're a sewer.
I'm a sewer also, yes.
Okay, and then knitting or crochet or both of those two?
Both of those also.
And any other crafts?
And I'm sorry, what was that?
Any other crafts that you enjoy?
Oh my gosh. I've made necklaces and bracelets, and I'm in the process of making some necklaces to have a lobster claw to attach to a face mask, so that when you take it off after going into a store, you can have it hanging around your neck instead of figuring out where to put it.
Yes, that's a great idea. I did one of those with yarn, a crocheted one with yarn and beads in my last book, 52 Crochet Gifts. Can't remember the name of it.
You?
Yeah, mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to get that book.
Well, the pattern's also available individually as a PDF download. You can find it in my crochet pattern shop too.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, first, I wanted to let you know that I'm so impressed with all of your patterns and your design. My background is I went to Fashion Institute Technology, and I was a buyer.
Oh, wow.
So it just, I feel like I'm one with you.
That's awesome. I always wanted to go to fashion school. Well, among other things, I wanted to go to chef school. I wanted to go to fashion school. I used to love sketching clothing when I was a kid. And yeah, that was always a dream of mine. So you did that, and then instead of becoming a designer, became a buyer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't have the desire to be a designer. I wanted to do the purchasing.
Sounds like it would have been
did.
easier hours too, right? And maybe less physical work.
Yeah, it was stressful though.
Oh, yes.
You're dealing with budgets
Mm-hmm.
and somebody else's money.
Yes, so I imagine it would be very stressful, but also very fun, like shopping for a living.
Yeah, it was very fun, and a lot of different places that I got to visit. So, locations, and went to Europe because of the buying. So,
Right. Oh, that sounds
it was
exciting.
wonderful. But I have a question which I've been trying to put together to formulate the wordage to email you. But this is better because I have you on the phone.
Okay.
So I was doing the jasmine sleeve on fabric, and after doing the first set of the pattern, then when I was starting to repeat the pattern, I found that I lost stitch. I minimized the amount of stitches, and it started getting smaller and smaller. What am I doing wrong?
Well, that's a tough question to answer without seeing what it looks like, but it's possible that you maybe skipped repeats. It's possible that you had issues with how to end the round.
Okay.
There are so many different ways that you can miss stitches if you don't recognize them. Are you new to crochet?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I don't recall the specifics of the pattern, but I will say that if you were to look back over your stitches with a fine-tooth comb, and especially since you're not a new crocheter, you can recognize the anatomy of stitches, so you could really go over it slowly. I would say that you've skipped something somewhere, and it might even be at the beginning and end of the round, because that's an easy place to miss that first repeat or that last repeat.
Yeah, and I've found that even with doing hats that are doing anything that's straight, or even a scarf, that it's at the front and the back, and you're exactly right. So
it's the beginning, and it's where the beginning and end meet in the round, or in rows, the beginning and end, where it's hard to tell the difference between what's a stitch, and well, in rows, it's what's a stitch and what's a chain, and which chain counts as a stitch and which doesn't. And then in the round, it's easy to make the mistake because you don't know, is that a slip stitch or a stitch, right? So if you think it's the slip stitch and you skip it, then, but it was the stitch, then that could also be a place where you would easily make that mistake. Now, I make that mistake sometimes too, and what I do is, if I'm not sure what is a stitch and what's not, I go back and count the whole row and make sure, even if you count backwards, right? Whether you count back or count frontwards, to make sure that you have the right number of stitches. And that's an easy identifier to make sure that it's a stitch and not a slip stitch, or a chain that counts as a stitch instead of the chain that doesn't count. I would, anytime you're unsure, count. And if you've gone too far and you've lost your count, you have to go back and find a row where you had the right count, and then count back to see what to recognize as the first or last stitch.
Yeah, I did. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the butterfly shawl, a knitted butterfly shawl, and that's it's short rows within a row, and so that happened, and I had to. Exactly what you're saying, go
definitely
back
on short rows you can make that mistake. And if you have to set your work down in the middle of short rows, also a very easy way to make mistakes. But this is another example of using stitch markers then, right? Anytime you can, like when you're starting a row, mark that first stitch. Just open up a split ring stitch marker and mark that first stitch so that you don't have to guess at the end or at the beginning of the next row. And same with short rows. You could use stitch markers for a number of reasons there. Mark the front and back of your work with specific colors, and then if you have to set your work down, mark where you left off. What is the front? What is the working side, so that you don't pick it up backwards? That would be another way to help yourself during short rows too.
Okay, well, I don't want to monopolize your time.
You know what, these were great, but these were great questions, and anytime you have a question that's technical like that, I'm sure that there are at least a dozen other people watching going, yeah, I've wanted to know that too. So this was really helpful. Thank you so much for calling, Mindy.
Oh, you're welcome. You have a great weekend.
You too, and make sure you email Judy after the show to get a prize, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Well, that was great, huh? I hope at least somebody else enjoyed my answers to that, because I know that that's a common problem with knitting and crochet, and even something that I certainly had problems with as a beginner, but even something that you can have problems with if you're doing a new stitch pattern, or doing a new using a new yarn, or using a different weight of yarn than you're used to. Like if you're used to thick yarns and you're doing thinner yarns, sometimes you can lose the ability temporarily to recognize the anatomy of stitches. And so anytime, okay, we've got another call. Good morning, this is Kristin. Who's this?
Hi, this is Kristin?
Yes, this is Kristin. Who's this?
Hi, my name is Nanette Dean.
Hi, Nanette. How are you?
I got through watching your podcast this morning.
Wonderful.
I'm so excited.
Yay. Are you knitting or crocheting this morning?
Yes, I've been working on the Fernanda.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, and I love it. What I love about that pattern, since it's a rectangle or a square on the front and the back, it gives a lot of opportunity for kind of modifying it.
Absolutely,
and
yes.
So I've been kind of playing with it and just having a lot of fun. I extended the length of it, so darn it, I had to buy another skein yarn.
Oh, but once you customize something that's perfect for you, you know what? It'll be worth the extra skein, because you'll wear it that much more, and you'll be so proud of yourself every time you wear it.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm so excited that I get to talk to you. I watch you all the time, and if I don't get to watch you live, then I watch you recorded.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad you enjoy the podcast. Can you believe we're going to be 700 episodes Monday? Monday's going to be 700 episodes.
I can't believe it. I remember when you were the first few podcasts that I caught, and you were sitting on the beach, And I
Uh-huh.
thought, oh my goodness, this is so calming. And that's how you got me hooked.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
being
Well, I
able
do
to,
try to get back there as much as I can because I enjoy it too.
yeah. Well, I really appreciate being able to talk to you.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Where do you live?
I live in Georgia, so not that far from you.
No, not far. I think
About
I'm 12
2 hours.
hours. I'm 12 hours from Atlanta.
We live around Atlanta, so it's, let's see where you live. Yeah, that would be a couple of days trip.
No, it's 12
Um,
hours. You could get there same day.
yeah,
Well, if
yeah,
you like
it's
driving.
pretty.
I like road trips. I can do 12 hours in one day.
Yeah, and the area where you live is absolutely beautiful. I love your backyard.
It is. Yeah, I feel really lucky to have this
So nice.
backyard.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for calling. Make sure you email Judy after the
Oh,
show to win a prize,
thank
okay?
you. Okay, well, thank you so much, and have a good day, Kristin.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
That was fun. I love the fact that we got to talk about how she's customizing her pattern. Isn't that great? I love hearing how people aren't afraid. That's one of the things as a designer that really makes me so happy is anytime I can empower people to take my pattern and use it as a jumping off spot to customize something and make it their own. And anytime you can customize something that fits better to your body or your style aesthetic, it's something that you will be that much more proud to wear and that much more proud to say that you made. And if you're proud to wear it and feel good wearing it, you'll wear it that much more. And what's a better gift than making something handmade for yourself that you absolutely enjoy wearing? That's so empowering to me. That's so wonderful. So I'm so glad that somehow I've managed to encourage people to do that. Or maybe you came with those skill sets before we even met, and that's fine too. But what a wonderful podcast this morning. This was so fun. I love every time I have the opportunity to add calls to the show because it's so wonderful to get everyone's feedback. Not that we don't get lots of wonderful feedback because of this amazing ability to have the live chat every morning too. Thank you so much to all my moderators for keeping it a safe place for everybody to be open and sharing and chatting about being creative and being kind to each other. And thank you to Judy for always sharing the live links so that everybody can get links right away for whatever I'm talking about. If you like the podcast, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, that red button down there, you can subscribe and join our amazing, loving community of fellow crafters and creators. And if you want to click the bell button next to it, it will notify you every time I go live or upload a new video so you won't miss a thing. Join me Monday for episode 700. We're going to have our 700th episode of the podcast. I'm so excited. Probably not going to do anything crazy or outlandish, but you know what? We're just going to chat and enjoy and do everything that we know and love about the Create, Share, Inspire podcast. If the weather permits, we'll definitely get to the beach. And if it doesn't, we'll be in my beautiful tropical backyard and maybe get to hear another concert from the birds. Maybe we'll even get a cameo from the kitties. I bet if I bring treats out, we'll have them for sure. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you Monday. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.